it's a group of very devoted people, and we've been really fortunate to have Michelle Hogan be the executive director of the AAI for so many years. She's just done a really superb job at making that community run, making that organization vibrant and alive. The counselors, so it's an honor to be elected as a counselor to AAI, and that group of people really work hard together and try to expand the community of immunologists, make the Journal of Immunology outstanding, and organize the yearly AAI FASEB meeting. And the president of AAI should use it as a bully pulpit to speak out on issues that are important to science. I decided when I was president that I wanted to do something concrete that would level the playing field for women. And the idea that I came up with was a program that would provide some technical assistance to postdoctoral fellows who were primary caregivers. Having raised 3 children myself, I know how difficult it is to do everything, right? It's tough, it's really tough. And sometimes you're lucky and you have a spouse whose schedule is more flexible. In my case, I had a spouse who was a surgeon, so his schedule was totally inflexible. And it's not easy to do all those things at once. And I felt that when I was a postdoc at NIH, and our daughter was born just shortly after I got there, my day was constricted. Drop her off at daycare and pick her up. And I didn't really have time to sit around and chat with the other postdocs. I mean, the male postdocs would sit around, they would talk, they'd exchange ideas, they'd go down for lunch. Well, I saw the cafeteria at NIH maybe 2 times the 3 years I was there. I didn't have time to do that. I had to do my experiments. I would bring a little, paper bag from home with lunch and eat it at my desk because I knew I had to pick up my daughter at 5 o'clock at daycare. So I'd, drop her off, go into work, come back. I could work on the weekends sometimes, but, it wasn't easy. And so when I started my own lab, I wanted to try to make it easier for the young women that I was training who had children. Now it's not gender specific. I mean, if it happens that the husband's the primary caregiver, then, that is the case not very often. So I found that by giving my female postdocs who had kids full-time technical help, it really leveled the playing field. Not that they shouldn't themselves do experiments and work hard, they absolutely should, but at least, when they have to leave at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, they're not being penalized because they can't be there till 10 o'clock at night, and they can't come in and spend all weekend there. And I saw how helpful that was. So many of my female postdocs have gone on to do well. Terry Loffer is a professor at U of Penn, and Carrie Mowen is at Scripps, and I could list a lot of successful female postdocs, and who have said to me it really made the difference to have this helping hand. And the men in the lab didn't resent it at all. They understood.
Functionally, how did it work?
Hired a technician. I would pay the money. My lab was well funded. I was able to do it. And I was able to say, you can hire a technician.
But as president of AAI, you just promoted this idea? Or what?
So I promoted this idea, and I convinced the NIH to fund a pilot program. The NIAID, actually, Tony Fauci, to fund a program where if the PI had an R01, could apply for a supplement of $50,000 for a year to provide a technician for primary caregiver. And that program was called PCTAS, Primary Caregiver Technical Assistance Program. No, Technical Assistance Supplement. It was a small program. Unfortunately, as always, money is always an issue at NIH. But over the years, I got letters from the women that had been chosen and saying, this made an enormous difference. Because many labs don't have the funds to be able to do that. And I wanted it to be, available to all. Now that program, unfortunately, because of the budgetary constraints, is no longer in existence. I tried, but unsuccessfully, to get other institutes at the NIH to pick it up. I pushed very hard for that program at Harvard as part of the Summers Task Force, Women in Science, Women in Engineering, Women in Science and Engineering. But I would love to be able to do that here at Weill Cornell. I would love to have the resources here to make that a college-driven program. So I think it makes a huge difference at that stage in your career. You're thinking, can I do this? Can I stay competitive, be on the cutting edge of science, and raise a family, and, in the case of a physician, also keep my hand in the clinical pool as well?